Hello and welcome to Aurelian University. In this video, we're going to talk about while and else. While loops are a type of loop, just like the for loop that we've already gone over. While loops execute code as long as a certain condition is true. So instead of doing it for each number, each one of a set of things, for example, we'll just keep doing it while a certain thing is true. And this actually can lead sometimes to while loops that never end, or aren't even supposed to end, but we'll go over that in a later video. And they use continue and break in a very similar way to the way for loops use them. And else evaluates code if we do not exit the loop, so if we don't use break, for example. So very often with while loops, we'll use a counter. So we'll want to stop when we get to a certain point, right? So we set counter equals to 0, and while counter is less than 10, print the counter. And then we'll say the counter is, we add 1 to the counter. That's what this syntax means. It's the same thing as saying counter equals counter plus 1, or the previous value of counter plus 1. And if we don't have to leave the while loop, we'll say we did not leave the loop early. This is an important thing, this line here, because if we were to forget or comment this out, this loop would go on forever, and we'd never get to the code after it. But we're not going to do that for this demonstration. I'm just going to run that so you understand. We can also reset the counter to 0 and continue just like we did in our for loop. So skip the code in one of the loops, in one of the iterations, if counter is equal to 4. And we'd also want to increment there, otherwise it would stay equal to 4 forever. And if the counter is equal to 7, we'll break, which means we'll permanently leave the loop. And if we do permanently leave the loop, we won't see this message. So, going to run the code. So what we see here is as long as the counter is less than 10, so 0 through 9, we get the expected behavior where we print counter. And we say we did not leave this loop early, so this code right here executes because we did not end up using a break or continue to leave, or sorry, a break to leave the loop early. But this time around, things are different. We don't print the number 4. Oh, actually, sorry, we don't print the number 5 because of the way I set this up. So we end up not printing the number 5, and once it's 7, we stop going on after that. The reason we don't print the number 5 is because we increment here before we print. So if it's equal to 4, then we increment, or then we skip it. But if it's equal to, if it's equal to 3, then we increment and it's 4, and then we print it. And then the next time around, it'll skip that iteration. So that's why we have 4, 6, 7. And then after 7, it breaks out of the while loop here because we told it to. And that's why we don't get this message here. We did not leave the loop early because we did.